I just arrived in London yesterday, and my mental clock is all crazy. I can't even. Oh my God, I don't even know what time it is. I set my watch forward, but it doesn't really matter because my body's still no help at all. I woke up at like 5, and I could not sleep, so I walked around the city. I was approached by a prostitute, which is lovely. She actually asked if I had a cigarette, and I was like, oh, no, I'm sorry. So then she was like following me around, and I was like, oh, okay. And she was like, what you doing? And I was like, I'm looking for food because right now I've been living off of Snickers bars. I kid you not. See, there's one right in the bookshelf right there. I've been living off Snickers bars because I haven't been able to. Well, there was nothing open at 5 in the morning. So I was like, oh, I'm looking for food. And she was like, oh, that's nice. And she's like, nothing's probably going to be open this early. And I'm like, yeah, I know, that's why I'm looking. And then, so she, like, followed me. And then she was like, are you looking for business? And I was like, oh, no, but thank you. Because, I have this guide to London, and it says, like, British politeness. You always say thank you no matter what the good or service is, always, like, multiple times after every part of it. That's what it said. So I was like, no, thank you, though, that's alright. So then I kind of, like, deviated my path and turned and went a different direction, even though that's really not where I was going to go in the first place. But, you know, to try and get away from her, because she was kind of creeping me out, because she was following me. So it was 5 in the morning, found a vendor, bought some Snickers bars for like £1 or whatever, and that's what I've been living off of. Let's see, my flight. I got to the airport, 2.5 hours, well actually no. Okay, we left really early. My mom and I left really early, and of course there was a fatality. There was like a fatal accident on the freeway that we had to go on, so that was backed up 14 miles. So we turned around on the median, went a completely different way, so I got there a little bit later, and then we had this whole thing, we had this like run-in with the police at the airport. It was kind of my fault, but you know what, they were assholes. Excuse my language, but they were douchebags. I don't care if they were police, the American police were jerks. We were trying to park so I could like unload, the loading zone or whatever, the loading and unloading zone. And this woman was taking up 5 spaces. So my mom's like kind of nudged in there halfway with her car, and she's like, ask them if she can move up a little bit so I can pull in. So I get out of the car and I'm like, excuse me, can you tell her to move up a little bit? Because we're sitting there, and I was going to wait, I was like, well, let me be polite, and I'm going to wait for a little while. So I waited, just sitting there, police just talking, chatting away. So I got, excuse me, can you tell her to move up a little bit? Because I was getting a little pissed. It'd been, 5 minutes or whatever. We're just sitting there halfway in the space. So the police officer, there's 2 of them, looks at me and one of them looks at me and goes, excuse me, buddy, we're doing a routine police inspection here. Do you have a problem? I go, excuse me, yeah, we're sitting here trying to get me out so I can go on my airplane and get to Britain. Excuse me. So I got back in the car. They're giving me dirty looks. I don't know, police officers apparently can do that. They're like... So, anyway, my mom's like, don't give them trouble, we don't want any trouble. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I got out, got my bags, and the police officer looks at me and goes, you have a real problem, buddy. And I was like, excuse me? He's like, that attitude's not going to get you very far in life. So my mom gets out to, say goodbye to me and give me the compassionate little hug because I'm not going to see her for 2 months. And he goes, ma'am, is this your son? She goes, yes, why it is. Why, what's the problem? He's got a real attitude problem, and this isn't going to get him very far in life. And I'm like, I just rolled my eyes. I'm like, oh my God. Okay. So that was my police story. I didn't say anything else back because I didn't want my mom to get a ticket. But I would have otherwise because I'm not going to deal with that shit. So, get into the airport, wait in line forever, of course, get my bag on the thingy. The weight limit was 50 pounds for checked baggage. My bag was 48 pounds. Whew. That 2 pounds would have cost me $150 if I was over. Let's see. Plane ride was interesting. There was a screaming baby the entire time. Seems to always happen on my flights. I got super duper dehydrated. I was sitting next to these two older British women on the plane, and every time the stewardess would come by or whatever, I'd be like, they would have water because everyone was getting dehydrated, and I was like, oh, thanks. And I'd reach over the two British women to get my water like 15 times during the flight. Okay, gosh, I'm trying to zip through this and everything that's happened. Let's see. Britain's pretty similar to the U.S. Let me take you on a tour of my hotel room. Okay, this room is teeny, and like, I mean, not just teeny. I mean, okay, look. Let me show you something. Here. I can't. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying. This is okay, there's my toilet. Okay, let me zoom back a little bit. The thing about that is, though, that if I stick my feet out when I'm on the toilet, I can actually reach the wall, the end wall of the shower. I don't know how this is going to look on here, but I mean teeny. I mean, you could probably fit one other person in this bathroom with me. That's it. Let's see, a few things I noticed. They do the 24-hour time thing here instead of the 12-hour clock. So right now it's 15:31, which I guess will be, what, 3:30? Let's see. Everything has cost me a lot of money because the conversion rate is ridiculously horrible. So, like, I paid $16 last night to eat at an Asian restaurant. It's going to cost me, like, $35. What else? I've noticed that there's like two news channels that I've been watching nonstop, BBC and Sky News, and BBC has this really irritating intro music that's about 6 seconds, but is probably the most irritating thing I've ever heard in my life, and it just repeats, and I'm going to see if I can get a clip of it in here later, but it's so irritating, and I noticed that the news reporters here are like complete assholes, because I've been watching all these BBC stories, and they like go up to the people and they're like, excuse me, sir, when your wife died, how did it make you feel? So why are you crying? Your wife was stabbed 40 times. How did that make you feel? And I'm just like, damn, I thought we were mean, you know? Americans are like, I always had this harsh image of Americans, but apparently Brits are pretty, British are pretty harsh too, I don't know. But, another thing I noticed, I'm going to try and cut this short and I'll add another one later, is that the British have people for everything. Like, for example, let me give you an example. I'm on this row of hotels here. It's a very, gosh, I'm not really good at this, I'm sorry. Okay, whatever. I'm on this row of hotels, and just an example would be like, Americans would have, you know, like a general person who does hospitality relations in the U.S., maybe in New York City. The British will have, like, they'd be like, well, we have a breaking news story, so we're going to go to the hotel manager of Argyle Street of the 2nd Division on weeknights in the postal code NW1, like, specific. They have someone for everything. I mean, if you're, like, at a fast food restaurant in downtown London, and you're like, man, these fries are kind of cold, they'll be like, hold on, and like, hello, this is the the nighttime fry manager of the second employee force, and then, like, it sounds all technical, but there's just a bunch of people for everything, and I don't really understand the point of that. I guess maybe to create a bunch of jobs. So I'm going to leave it at that. Sorry, it's 9 minutes. You guys have a great day.